offense or anything, all the media stuff, and he stays focused on building great culture. He's done it as an offensive coordinator at an extremely high level. He's just a guy for me who early in my career has been somebody that I've always had a great deal of respect for, and I think he'll establish that same thing in Washington.
Husky Stadium, you've obviously done this thing before. You've seen visiting teams come in. You anticipate a silent count. What do you think? You're going to have to operate a little differently, assuming the crowd and everything's on top of you. What's that like?
Yeah, no, it's a great question. I mean, I think we've pretty much tried to hit up everybody from last year and ask them, how loud will it be? Obviously, we have the experience there. Certainly, we'll go into the game trying to operate as normal, but be prepared when that crowd noise gets going. Certainly in situational football to have a plan with that cadence. But again, I think so much of it is being in a huge environment for our players, keeping it simple, allowing them to play fast and confident and withstand the initial charge, if you will.
With that said, I mean, you got 2 freshmen listed as starters on the O-line on the depth chart. I mean, what kind of challenge you balance that out with 3 pretty experienced guys, but they have 2 guys that haven't played a whole lot going into what's probably going to be obviously very raucous crowd. What is that challenge?
Yeah, I think it's a huge challenge for sure. I think I always tell these guys, right, you spend so much time from a weight room standpoint, you spend so much time from a schematic standpoint. The biggest thing for them this week is honing into what this mental approach is going to be like for this game. This is a unbelievable environment, unbelievable city. But as we all know, right, football's football. The question for them is, can they stay locked in one play at a time, stay focused, stick to their keys? Is their mind going to be up and down? Absolutely. But I think the biggest thing for them is the awareness of that, and then just getting right back locked into one play at a time. And so that's the big overarching message, I think, offensively for these guys is handle the mental side of this game. It's going to be the reason you came to Boise, is to play in games like this. But with that being said, the crowd noise, the experience, the on the road, the Seattle cannot overtake you so much. When we look back at this game, it's always going to come back to fundamentals and technique and how we execute it.
How much time in the last month have you spent working on tailoring Green's mental game for this moment, and how do you do that?
I just think, I don't know if it's a last month thing, and it's such a great question. It is. I mean, you guys have all seen it. I know I've referenced that documentary, right, with Kirk Cousins and what he's doing from a mental standpoint, and you look at him and the success he's had, right? Like, it is flat out the most important thing, in my opinion, at that position and a lot of positions, especially nowadays for these student athletes, from the standpoint of everything is out there, the media attention they get. I do think he is and you guys know him, he's a cool, calm, collected type, easygoing kid. And I think that's a huge strength of his. But I think we had an honest conversation too, where he was like, hey Bush, I've never played in front of 75,000 people before, so I think that's just going to be the thing. In game, again, having that awareness, having the good communication, the good dialogue of what it's feeling like, what it's sounding like, and can you just stay focused 75 plays.
You guys have Garrett listed as center. Andy was telling us, even though we didn't see him on the field in games last year, you guys put him there, or they put him in practice last year. What have you seen from him at the center position, and how is he kind of able to move around in that role?
Yeah, I think he's such a reliable player. I think at one point in his career here, he has taken snaps at every offensive line position. He's a veteran. He's mature. So he certainly, for him to have had to make that jump, basically 3 weeks ago, it takes a special guy to be able to do that. But again, it's a testament to him understanding the offensive schemes, understanding the big picture at that position. What are the guards looking at? What are the tackles looking at? We're confident in him in this game.
We look at the depth chart. Don't see Mason Randolph. Is there any update on him?
I'm not sure if that's been brought up or not, but.
We've gotten the chance to know Eric McAllister for a little while now. You look at what he did as a big play receiver last year. It just seems like he's taking care of the little things now. What is he capable of?
Yeah, I think he's capable of being a really, really big time player and playing football for a long, long time. I really do. I mean, I think it's, you look at that position, you look at the length, you look at the natural catching ability he has, certainly the top end speed. He can be as good as he wants to be. And I just think it's been, extremely intentional about every rep he takes, right? The details of alignments, assignment, how am I running this route, that are going to take his game to the next level. But I just feel he's consistent day in and day out. He comes with a great approach. He's got all the things at that position to play for a long, long time. And now it's just going to be, more reps and playing in those environments. And we're obviously excited about his progress.
What about?
I'm glad to say about Billy. I mean, as a Z now, he's going to get a lot of attention. And he says he doesn't feel like that we've seen the best of him yet, I guess.
Yeah, I'd agree with that too. I mean, you guys know Billy. I mean, Billy's somebody that, if there's one or two guys that represent this organization, he's one of them. He's just, he's a work-like receiver who comes in every day. And I just think, again, he's a guy that just consistently, right, throughout camp, is just always there making plays. The plays he's supposed to make, he makes, and the plays that a lot of times aren't supposed to be made, he's going to make it. And so he is one of the more consistent guys, I think, on the whole offense, and certainly from a leadership standpoint, somebody we rely on.
In an atmosphere like this, whatever, to be able to run the football, I mean, how important is that, and how much do you hope to lean on, your running game in this game?
Yeah, certainly, it's really important. I think when you look at the teams that have beat these guys, when you watch UCLA, when you watch Arizona State, not making it a one-dimensional game was critical. And the other thing that jumps out to me is third down execution of both those teams. I mean, you look at, I believe UCLA was like 10 of 14. Arizona State was like 9 of 14 on third downs. Certainly going to have to execute the pass game in those situations, but you cannot be one-dimensional against a top 10 team on the road and expect to win.
I feel like we haven't talked about Steph Cobbs much, and just given that he's kind of moved to slot and could catch a ton of passes.
Yeah.
What do you like from him at slot, and how big is his ceiling this year?
Yeah, I think it's really big. I mean, I think all these receivers, right, it's they put themselves in position every day to continue to get better. A lot of times at that position, it's not always the case. Steph knows the game inside and out. He's tough. He's willing to do the dirty work. He tracks the ball extremely well. He's a great route runner, probably our best route runner of the bunch. And so, a lot of this is just going to come down to cutting them loose and those guys staying healthy and playing fast. But I do feel strongly about all three of those guys. Their approach since I've been here has just been outstanding. And so it's about all you can ask for as a coach.
What about beyond that? I mean, a guy like Prince, we see him in practice make crazy catches every day when we're out there, and then you look at his size. I mean, what are fair expectations for a guy like that as a freshman coming in here?
Yeah, certainly, the biggest thing for us with Prince is whole part whole, if you will, right? Like, we don't want to just go and throw him out there for 60 plays in his first go at this thing, right? Obviously, he's got a really good big play ability that we've seen. He's got good size, good length. So I think for us, it's all about building confidence there for him, right? It'll be a different environment for him. First game of his college career. How can he go out there with a limited number of plays, but be able to go and play fast and get some early success?
Back when, around the time you got hired here, Grant Hedrick tweeted a story about how you had written him a letter back in 2010 when you were getting deeper into your coaching career and talking about what it means to play quarterback at Boise State. Just back at that time, what compelled you to do that?
I don't know. I guess it was just a natural reaction maybe. I had heard a lot about Grant, just through some mutual people, and I've always felt, right, it's so hard in life. You're at a place, you give everything you got to a place, and then you walk out and it's just like you're gone, and so I just I don't know if it was a big thing. I think there was like a stack of letters. I was probably in College Park at the time at Maryland, and I might have put it on a Maryland logo, but just how happy I was for him to be able to experience this town, experience this program, and just offer, hey, if you ever need somebody that had been through it, I was there, so.
You mentioned that this is not just going to be any game for you, and you talk about wanting your guys to just kind of feel like this and not get caught up in the environment. I mean, some could almost say your departure, you got screwed a little bit. I mean, do you have to kind of go into this and tune all that stuff out and just go into it like it's another game and not think about the atmosphere?
I don't know. I think in my coaching career, and I think with these players, there's just no tuning it out. There really isn't, right? Like I tell these guys all the time, like it's not going to be a situation you just go out there and you tune 75,000 people out and 350 boats on the water in the city and the experience. So I don't feel like maybe earlier in my career, right? We got to be aware of it. You got to take it all in.
Yeah.
And certainly I will. I feel like I'll take every part of this trip in. This is a place that has meant a lot to me, right? You know, you'll always remember where you played at, your alma mater, and follow that. But this is also a place I spent 5 years of my life at, you know, and I think won two conference championships, made a Final Four run. A lot of these players on this list, I mean, I just can't tell you how proud I am of their growth and their development. And so take it in. I mean, I think that's what every one of these players needs to do, be aware of it and understand in the game, it's football and we got to stay focused one play at a time.
We learned last week Maddox was going to be the backup quarterback, and from what Andy was saying, it sounds like, you know, it was one of those situations where, you know, going into game week, you need to name a guy. He said, you know, both Maddox and CJ were doing great things. For you, was that one of the toughest depth chart decisions you had to make on the offense?
Yeah, I think so, because in every situation, again, you guys know this, I've had experience of being a backup quarterback, right? So in those situations, like every rep is so critical. And that's the hardest thing, right? Is you look at what CJ we felt did this fall camp, and he has come a long, long way from if you guys were out there, right, when he just got here in the spring. And so, but also we know this, right, that guy is one play away. As a backup quarterback, you're only getting about half the reps of the starter to begin with, and it really just came down to feeling like we had to give Maddox as much reps as he could take to be ready to go.
Bush, are you going to be up top? Are you going to be on the sidelines? I don't know if you were ever on the sidelines as a coach with
Yeah.
Pete up there.
Yeah, no, I'll be up top.
Freshmen used to come in and you could tell if they were freshmen. You looked at Breezy Dubar and you might think he's been here for 3 years. A month into this thing, is he capable of being a contributor for you guys in some way, shape, or form?
Yeah, I think he's got a huge upside here. I think that guy's got a chance to be one of the more special players that have come through this program. And similar to Prince, right? Like we want to give him a role that he feels he knows inside and out, right? Because we know for every player the anxiety is going to be going, but for those two guys in general, right, it could be through the roof. And so I would just say he's probably on the same plan there. You know, we need to get him involved, make him feel confident in knowing what he's got going, because we think his rate of development will be fast when time occurs.
Anything else? All right, thank y'all.
Appreciate